And what's going on, everybody? Wilson here, your spiritual hype man. I'm super happy to be back with our good friend Matthew Martinez. Say what up, Matthew.
What's up, guys?
Yeah, that's right. So we're chilling, and if you didn't hear the first episode, definitely would go back now. The reason we stopped the first episode short was because there was a little bit of a lag, and we just were not hearing ourselves correctly, like, even though it did download correctly. So you'll hear a little bit of lag on the last one, but I'm gonna chop it up, clean it up. But we were talking about was, obviously influence, thought, emotion, action, decision, outcome, right? The whole part of nothing changes until you do, but how that related to Matthew in terms of growing up, and we shared similar stories in terms of, being first immigrant parents came here and then we're born here, and now we have to go through this around the same time, of dealing with super strict parents, being within society, within normal society, stuff like that, where maybe things are a little bit different in terms of how you grow up, and then how that could potentially lead or influence certain parts of our decisions, or like subconsciously or not consciously, until we get to that level, right, Matthew, of like actually fucking being aware of all these things, where it's like, oh yeah, this makes sense. So Matthew, we were talking, so college, mom came, or you came back home from college, and you were like, and mom was like, what is wrong with you, because there's something going on. You like,
Yeah,
you don't look like
yeah,
you, bro, what's going on? All right, so take us through that.
yeah. So I come back and she didn't. She knew something was up, right? And but I lied myself out of it, like I did a lot of the times. And I go back, and that's when that second semester was like, well, that's when things started really going downhill with mental health, physical health, just all the above, right? Because like I didn't even go to the first day of second semester classes. I went on a huge bender. Um,
And was it
the
what,
whole
what was
semester.
it? Was it like alcohol and we like everything sort of mixed all at once, or like what was the like the substance of choice or substances of choice usually for on the daily?
Well, it was honestly it was anything I could get my hands on, right? But on the usual it was alcohol, marijuana, cocaine, and ketamine,
God damn,
right?
dude.
So
Yeah, so you're
uh,
fucked up all day. You were like, I don't give a shit. I'm
yeah,
going. I'm going out. Nobody can
all
tell me
day.
nothing.
Yeah, and I throw a couple psychedelics here and there as well. Whenever I felt like I needed a restart, but
Uh-huh.
that never helped either. But yeah, it was literally that's a daily thing. Wake up, I'd smoke, I'd drink all day, I'd do cocaine, and then at night ketamine every single day.
Damn.
And it's bad when it's bad when you stay up so late that the birds start chirping
Yeah,
every
right.
single morning, right? Like that feeling of when you're up so early, like so late,
Throughout the whole
and the
day.
birds
Yeah,
start
throughout the whole
chirping, you're
day.
like, oh, I did it again.
Yeah, that's
You know,
crazy.
I did it again, and I just ruined it. I ruined every single day, and that was a consistent thing every single day. And I was depressed. I got really, really depressed, and I wanted to harm myself. Right, like I didn't want to like live a lot. Like I'd wake up some days and I'm like, this is the last day. This is the last time. Let me get my life together. Let me not ruin everything I got here. Right, because I was going to college for free. You know,
Uh-huh. Yeah.
and and then it's crazy. I say that myself to that, and I'd be like, God, please help me right here, man. Please help me. Like I don't want to do this anymore. And then 30 minutes later, back to the same thing, consistently, right? And it got to a point where I was already at that point where I couldn't stop. Right, like the whole thing is like every time I put this substance or I put anything that makes me feel different from myself, I can't stop. Right, I can't control myself,
Mm.
and yeah. So that went through and everything, and then near the end of the semester, it's crazy how I look back at it and all the things that had to happen to come to this point. Like everything was in line, right? Like it
Mm-hmm.
was about to be the biggest party of the year. I was ready. I was gonna. I never did this. I never did Molly before. I was gonna do Molly this night at this party. It was gonna be a big rave, and my fraternity was hosting it. This, and that. Right. And like 2 hours before the party, I'm getting ready. I'm excited. I'm about to take this Molly. I was like, let's go. And I get a knock on my door. Boom, boom, boom. And I'm like, what the heck? I'm about to party, dude. Like, what's up? And I see it's I look through the people, it's my mom. I'm like, oh,
Whoa. All right.
and I don't open the door. I,
Oh
I
my
don't
god.
open the door. And I'm like, so I got like the thing is like I got bongs everywhere. I got weed all over the table. I got anything you can imagine in the
God
apartment,
damn.
right? At this point, I'm living by myself, right? Like no one's in the apartment. All of my roommates left. It's only me
Yeah.
second semester.
And your
And
mom on the other side of the
yeah,
peephole.
yeah.
Shit. With la chancla.
I'm hiding everything. I'm hiding everything. And like I try to run out the back door and she's already back there. Like
Damn.
she
She's
she
like, nah, it ain't happening
comes
today.
yeah, she comes into the apartment and it reeks of everything.
Damn.
Boom, she drug tests me. She's never drug tested me in my life, right? Like she knew
Like
some
right
stuff
with
was
that same
happening
day? That same day?
that same day. Everything happened.
Like she had one ready? She was like, all right, you gotta piss this
Ready,
cup.
ready.
Shit.
She
God
went
damn.
to school and met with my academic advisor before and saw my grades. She was like, "Oh my god!" Right? Like
She said,
that's when like
Papito.
shit started falling apart.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's when shit started falling apart. And I see, yeah, she drug tested me and then I popped for cocaine, alcohol, and weed, and she whooped my ass.
Whooped your
Pretty
ass. Whooped
bad.
your ass. Yeah.
Yeah,
She said, how could
yeah,
you?
yeah.
God
Whoop.
damn it. Damn.
Yeah. And this is where this is where I tell a lot of people like it started finally something changed, right? Like after the whole thing, like she sat down and I sat down and she was crying and she was like, Matt, like like why? Like
Mm,
tell me like why you're doing all this stuff. And this was the first time in about I don't know 4 or 5 years I was ever truly honest to her.
mm,
Right? I
mm.
was like, Mom, I don't know because I didn't. I didn't know why I was doing this to myself, right? I
Right.
didn't know I was partying every day and ruining my life.
Yeah. Very
Right?
reactive that time. Yeah. Very good.
Yeah, like I didn't know. I
Yeah.
really didn't know. And at the time I didn't, right? And like today I do know why, right?
Right.
But at the time I didn't. And the rest of the day goes by and she stays the night. I didn't go to the party and I'm looking at it today and like that Molly I was gonna take definitely didn't look like Molly, right? Like
Mm,
it looked like some messed up stuff that was like laced or something. Um, but the day goes by and I stay the night. She sleeps in my bed. I sleep on the couch. And while I'm hiding, it's funny. It's just funny. I'm hiding everything. While I was hiding everything, I forgot to hide the stuff that's in my wallet, right? So like I went to sleep and I put my wallet on like the little table that's in the living room, and I wake up and I see my wallet like torn up, right? And she pull like when I wake up, she like holds these like two little bags I have over my face and was like, "What the fuck is this?" Like so I had to like put that down the toilet and a couple other things. I had like so much bullshit in my apartment, man. Like Adderall, I had all this little stuff. Um,
damn.
but yeah, like that's like yeah, life was like, oh my god, like what I'm gonna do, this and that. And
Yeah.
what
So
she made me
what were
do
you thinking? Yeah. What were you thinking in
was
that at that point?
I was like at first I was very resentful, right?
Mhm.
I was very mad at her, right? Even though she saved my life basically, right? I was very mad that I didn't get to go to that party, right?
Right.
Like
Right. Oh,
I was
fuck.
mad and I was frustrated that like she did all that and embarrassed me and all
Yeah.
this stuff. And
We're so young.
the second day when we woke up, she made me basically call like the helplines for like drug addiction and stuff like that. And so we called one of my godmother actually. She's my godmother. She lives in Jersey. She's actually a therapist, right? She calls her and she's like, "What do I do?" She's like, "You gotta send him to the treatment center. You gotta send him to detox." So right there and then, she leaves. She's like, "You're gonna come up 3 days till now." So it was like a Sunday. No, it was a Saturday. So I had to go back like Monday or Tuesday,
Mm.
right? And I convinced her to let me stay till then. She would have took me back then, but to let me stay like Monday or Tuesday so I could get like some school stuff organized and whatever this and that. Still lying, right? And so I stayed and I gave away. I was like, dang, like this is really gonna happen. Like, I fully like admitted to myself that like this is the end, right, of the party
Yeah.
that I was having. And what I was doing was I was giving away everything I had. I was giving away all my weed. I was giving away all my accessories, I like to say, and I was giving away everything, and because I was done, like I had no use for it anymore, right?
Mm.
And for those 3 days, I told myself, I was like, I am not gonna smoke weed. I'm not gonna do anything for these 3 days, right? And I didn't drink. I didn't do substances, but the weed part was so hard, man. And I'm telling you, like, I tried every single time. I smoked every single time. And so I get back home, and the day I get back home, I stay the night there. And the next day was my first day of probably being a full day sober, like in a long time, probably like 2 to 3 years, right? Which was I'm looking at it now, it's like, wow, that's so crazy. That is so crazy. Um, so I spent one more day there, and they sent me off to the treatment center in Orlando. I'm there for the treatment center 13 days, and in treatment centers they bring like these meetings. And I'm not gonna disclose the name of these meetings, but they bring these meetings, right? And like the first 5 6 days, I'm like, I'm not, I'm. This is only a summer thing, right? I just gotta do this
Yeah.
and go back to college, and I'll be all right, right? And I get moved over to like the residential side of it after like the detox part, and that's when I started like being more in groups and this and talking to my therapist, right? And I go to one of these meetings, and I'm like hearing them, I'm like, well, that seems odd. Like this 40 50 year old man is basically telling my story right now. Right?
Yeah.
It's basically saying the same thing that I just been through a couple days ago. And more, I'm like, holy shit, right? So I leave the 13 days, and I go into this sober house here in Palm Coast, actually, and I'm there for like 3 months, right? And 3 months, I find someone, and he's helping me out, and I'm going through this journey and this process through this program, and that's when I started really like diving into this and taking this a bit more serious, right? Because like I'm hearing these things that these people are saying, and I'm like, wow, like they basically been through what I'm doing right now, right? And like it would be kind of dumb for me not to listen a little bit and actually try this, right?
Yeah,
And
it's a great thought.
I'm going through like this process with someone, and yeah, I'm going through this process with someone, and it's like these things are just like unraveling in my head, and like this whole process, and like it's amazing me, right? And like I was planning on going back to college, um, that after that summer, basically a year ago from now, and now and like I was probably a month or two into it, and I decided not to go back. I decided that I wanted to continue this journey process, and I knew I wasn't ready, right? Because if I went back, I would have slipped into the same hole. And I started going. I completed this process that this program tells us to complete, and I had this spiritual experience, right? And like I remember about a quarter in, we say this prayer. We say this prayer, and I get on my knees and I say this prayer, and I go the next day. I wake up and I go to a trip down to Jupiter. If you ever been to Jupiter, it's the clearest waters you'll ever see in your whole life, right? Like
Mm.
I go there, we fish and whatever, and I had like I'm in the water around midday, and I look around, right, and I had this like spiritual experience, right? I'm like, holy, like what is happening right now? And the best way I can describe it is like this sense of like gratitude and fulfillment that is in my body, right? Like that, like I'm okay, right? Like this is all I need. Like if this was the rest of my life, I'd be okay,
Yeah,
right?
what a
And it
great
was
feeling
beautiful.
that is.
Oh my god, it was beautiful,
Yeah, it's
right?
great.
Because the reason I'm doing all these drugs and I'm drinking all this alcohol is because I'm
And
feeling some type of void that is missing, right? Like
yeah, yeah.
and and what this program is like teaching me is like to fill that void with God, right? And I know a lot of people don't like hearing the word God, because of like the religion and everything. And for me, like God is, I use God because it's a shorter term for higher power, like to
Mhm,
my
mhm.
understanding, right?
Yeah,
It's just a shorter
exactly.
term because I'm like,
Yeah, whatever you're feeling, but that connection to something. Yeah, for sure.
yeah. So I go through this whole process, and it's been amazing, right? Because it's a humbling experience, it's a learning experience, but it's also like a giving back experience, right? And through this process, I've learned that like we create this list, right, of the people we harmed, right? And we look at it, and while I'm writing this list of like all these people I've harmed, I'm like, holy shit! Every single person, and every single person that is on this list was a direct result of my actions, right? And it's basically telling me that I gotta take accountability for this stuff, right? I gotta be humble and know that I have to make my wrongs into rights, right? So I go and start making amends, right? And like, it's been beautiful so far, man. It's took me to a place I never thought I'd be before. You know, if someone told me that this was where I was gonna end up today, I didn't think that it would I'd feel this type of way, right? Like it's I wouldn't give it up for the world. You know, like today, like I'm so God heavy in this program. It's changed my life entirely, right? And what surprised me a lot is like I go to these to these things and these meetings, right? And most of the people that try to change their life around are like older, right? They have to wait till like they're 40, 50 years old to really see a change, right? And like I'm just so eternally grateful to God and to the people who surrounded me in the beginning to actually see that there was a problem in my life and that I had to take action and change it, right? Because like I'm so young. I'm only 20 years old, right? I used to beat myself up consistently
You're so
every single
young, bro.
day.
You're so young. You got the rest of your life in front of you, bro. You're so young. You're like Rudy,
Yeah, I
bro.
used
Like
to beat
Rudy,
myself consistently.
dude. Yeah, I told Rudy just turned 20, and I was like, "Damn, Rudy, you're 20. You're so old. You so." I was like, "You so old. You got a monthly subscription to glucosamine, bro." It's like, you guys so old now. No, but that's true, man. You guys are so young, and it's good that you have that awareness, man. And I would just encourage you to continue it. You know, in terms of what the whole word of God, or whatever it is to you. Like, don't worry about what people have their own understanding or rationalization around that. But you keep, if that's what you feel good, and that's how you understand that there's this higher calling for you as a human being, other than what you were running away from. You keep at it, you know what I mean? And I think you're doing a great job understanding it. And then just know, like, do you still go back and reflect on certain things, or do you give yourself time to like go back? Because here's an example with me. Like, I had a conversation with my mom about 3 years ago. I think I was 33 or whatever that was. I called her because I was still very resentful about all the shit that we grew up on, and that's episode 5, right, on the podcast, My Abusive Mom, for anyone that hasn't heard it yet. But the thought was, like, I realized that there was a moment of perspective, understanding that, like, yo, I didn't know what she went through and what was going through. And now that I can see that perspective, I'm like, would I have done an equal or better job than her raising me as a child? And I was like, I don't fucking think so. You know what I mean? So that led me to my aha moment where I was like, you know what, Ma, I like, it's okay, like, it's all right. There's no more resentment, like, I hear your apology, or I'll take your apology, or whatever, however I said it. And then that relationship got better, right? Like, our relationship is a lot better. However, most recently, like, I've been thinking about, or I've been reflecting about, like, how I still feel in certain situations that I can now relate or parallel to how I would feel when I was living with her. How I was, like, sometimes walking on eggshells, or I wasn't good enough because I got this grade, or I was part of this club, but I didn't graduate like top 10%. I graduated top 12 or some shit, like some crazy shit like that, where, like, it wouldn't be good enough. And so, even though I've already made my peace with my mom, I realized most recently that I have yet to work through some of these, like, auto responses that I have now in certain situations, because of the way that I grew up, or the way that I was part of this, like, environment, right? In terms of, like, how other people were influencing me at that moment. And so, I guess my question, or my point is, do you continue to do that? Do you continue to reflect? Do you have moments like that? And if not, I would encourage it. But, or is there, like, times that you look back and you continue still to, like, analyze these things?
Yeah, I mean, I think I have them like on a daily basis.
Mhm.
Right? Like I have them. Like I just had one like before I joined this podcast. Like in what day is it today? Today's the 22nd. In 4 days, I get a year sobriety. Right?
Oh,
I stopped using alcohol.
wow. So, wow,
Yeah,
that's crazy, dude. Good job. Good for you. That's good.
it's amazing, and it's only because of the grace of God, right, and the people in this program that helped me, right, like,
Yeah,
because
a
like
great
so what I've learned,
influence.
so yeah, so what I've learned is like, so what we learn is that we see everything in hindsight, right, and like I like when I'm doing something in the moment, I might not know the what will happen, but afterwards I will see what the effect was and like how like powerful the effect was, right? Like, I look back at these moments of like how I talked to my mom and how like I had the same experience that you had with your mom, right? Like
Mm,
I thought my household was terrible, right? My mom was never there. She would scream, she would do all this, but like how good would I have
yeah.
done raising a no father and
Yeah.
working like all the jobs she had
Oh,
and trying to give me everything I wanted and needed, right? Like
yeah.
she did more than enough. She did,
Yeah.
you know? And it's incredible, right? And like it's crazy that you bring up your mom and like making like kind of things better in the situation because about like 2 or 3 weeks ago, I made an amends to my mother, right? And while I'm making the amends, basically, I tell her everything I've done to her, I've done harm to her, and I ask her to and I ask her for an apology. I apologize to her, and I tell her if there's anything else I missed out or if there's anything I can do that can bring this up to fix this, I will do it, right? And hopefully, like I know words don't mean much, but hopefully for the actions of the rest of my life may bring these wrongs into rights. And it was a very very emotional time because I was crying and she was crying,
Yeah.
right? And like it's something a whole nother level that it's and I can't even explain, right? Like me and my mom are very close. She calls me and I call her almost every day. But like after that, like it's there wasn't like too much tension, right? I could like speak freely to her, right? And
Exactly.
she like asks me questions about like my recovery and asks me questions about like how I'm doing. And like, it's so crazy because like I was always the one that needed my mom's advice and needed my help, but I was too prideful to not ask for it, right?
Yeah.
Even at a young age, even when I was like 16, I knew how to do everything in the world, right? And that's
Yeah.
just not true,
Yeah, you ain't telling
right?
me
And like
shit. I'm gonna
today,
go figure it out. I'm
because I
like,
have
oh, fine, I'm leaving. I
exactly,
can't wait.
and yeah, and like today, like and today, like because I have this relationship with God and everything, and I've been doing what I've been doing, and just slowly learning. She like comes to me now. She's like, hey, how do you like pray? What is this prayer like? How? Because I'm struggling. Like to me, like I don't take those moments for granted at all, right? Because like I gotta look where like my ego's taking in place, but also like I gotta give it all to God at the end of the day, man. Like he has brought me back to my family. He's brought me back to this life, living in the moment and present, right? Because like they tell us not to think in the future too much, right? Because like when we future trip, like it's a very thin line, right? Because like you're supposed to prepare for
Yeah.
tomorrow, right?
Yeah.
You're
But
supposed
the
to do
present is
things and
now.
actions to prepare for tomorrow,
Yeah.
but you can't future trip and trip over an outcome that's not has happened yet, right? Like
100%.
I can only control what's happening right now,
Yeah.
and that's it.
Yep.
And,
A lot of
and that's
us
what I
do
live
that.
by.
A lot of us do that. Have you listened to or read the book The Power of Now?
I'm actually the book is right over
Yeah.
there.
Oh my God, dude. It's that changed my and even though I still like and you know what it is? It's like going to like like a motivational seminar. Like you go to the seminar and you're like, yeah. And then you come home and you're like, fuck, I forgot because I've caught myself where I'm like, the power of now. Like, and after, like, I read the book and I listened to it back to back like 2 or 3 times, and I was like, in it, I'm like, I don't care about what's going to happen tomorrow. I am here. And then now today, I caught myself like thinking like all about what I got to do, and then I'm very much working on that reinforcement, right? So, and that's I think a good leadway I would say into just highlighting, right? Look, there's moments of change where we know what we're not conscious that we need to change, right? We're just kind of like, this is what we're doing based on emotional reaction. And then there's moments where we realize we're like, okay, we definitely got to do something, but we continue doing the other thing, right? We're like, I don't got to change. This is my last day, but I'm just going to go do it one more time and one more time, one more time. And then there's that moment that, like, whatever it is, where you get to a point where it's like, okay, this is definitely need to change, whether it was forced or it was just brought onto you by an out external situation. In your case, mom coming to you and like knocking on that door that led to like this moment of like, okay, it's either I'm going left, I'm going right, but I'm making this decision based on, what I think you were feeling already. Like, I think that because you already said you were like, I don't want to, another day where I wake up and the birds, or like I'm still up and the birds are still chirping, and I fucking did it again. You know what I mean? So like from there, your influence then changed. So like you
Yeah,
surrounded yourself with a support group. Everybody around you obviously want the best for you anyway. But I think there's a level of consciousness that you yourself, the person, gets to, and then starts reflecting on figuring out, okay, what was actually happening? Like, what was that situation? And then also like I guess in parallel to what other people that care about you, your influence, are helping those thoughts, are help guiding you to get to this level, that then you all of a sudden feel a certain way, or you feel different in terms of a different situation, that then you propel yourself forward and making different decisions. And that's exactly what you did, bro. And you've done that. And you said it's going to be a year and 4 days, which is amazing, bro. It's amazing. And at the end of you're only 20 years old, you're so young, you old, you know what I mean? So it's a great thing, be super proud, be super proud of what you're doing, because it's such a great turnaround, and in such a short amount of time. So I think you're doing a great job, dude, and continue to foster those relationships, continue to nurture the relationships. And I would encourage you to continue to like to reflect on certain things. Like, are there certain things that I still need to go in and dig deep, and just let it be, or like feel those feelings and then let them go. That's something I've been working on. So great stuff to you, my man, for sure. So let me we have a couple of minutes left. So let me ask a couple of questions for you. Do you wake up? Do you have some sort of morning routine? Even if it's meditation or prayer, or like, do you log into something, or what, or are you working on that? Are you developing that? And then do you also have like a nighttime routine to help you wind down and get ready for the next day, especially being almost a year sober?
yeah. I have a morning routine. That's what emphasize on us very heavily, actually. So like every morning, first thing I do when I wake up, like I have a group of friends in recovery, and we all send these things called gratitude lists to each other, right? So like the first thing we do when we wake up, we write out a gratitude list. Three things we're grateful for every day, right? We go kind of deep into it to make it actually like not just, oh, my bed, a roof over head, and food. Like I actually go in deep into it, and we send it to each other. That's the first thing I do every day. Then I go ahead and do my necessities. Brush my teeth, wash my face, take a shower, and then I go straight into prayer. Right, prayer is a big thing in my life. It's basically just speaking with this power. And the thing is with prayer is like I can't pray selfishly. Right, like the more I pray for others, the better my day goes on. Right, and that's what all it is. Right, and then the second step of that is meditation. Right, like I pray to my God, and I ask him for things, and I pray for others, and this and that, and then I meditate to hear, right? To hear my God, right, and to actually listen, right. And those things have been very beneficial in my life. And there's one more thing I do. I read a piece of spiritual literature every morning, and that's it. That's
Fantastic.
really all I do. I try to keep it simple. Like, I my sponsor, he says quality over quantity, right? Like, so like if I'm doing these things in the morning and they're benefiting me most, like just keep doing that, and don't try to implement more things where the other things become less important, right? And you won't gain as much stuff from it as well, right? In my nightly routine, I drop on my knees and I pray every night before I go to sleep, and then to go to sleep, I just meditate and I just fall asleep. That's really all I do right now. I should be doing more. I know other people that do more, but it's been working out so fine right now.
Yeah, no,
Um,
you keep doing what's
they tell
working, Yeah, keep doing what's working, and then you slowly,
yeah, I
like,
should be taking like a daily inventory, stuff like that. But it's working right now. It's working. So yeah,
great.
man, the morning routine definitely helps me a lot because, you know, it's crazy. I tell people this, like, the one day I cannot do my morning routine and just go ahead my day, and I'd be pissed off, angry, cursing people out. I'd be the worst human
100%.
being on earth. Right.
Yeah.
The next day I could do my morning routine. It could be the same exact day or even worse, and things could just be so fine. Things
Yeah.
would be okay.
Yeah. You don't do the
You
morning
know,
routine. You're like,
life's just good.
move over, grandma.
Just grateful.
You're in the left lane. All right, so let's announce. So last question, or let's end it on this one. If you were, if someone's going through something, or has gone through a similar situation in terms of whether growing up or just being on this binge and trying to get out, what would be something that you would, that you would encourage them, or, to do, or to think about, or maybe to reflect on?
Well, I mean, any advice. I'll just say the same advice as like how I got it right. Like, if people have the same problem as how I did with drinking and drugs, where they can't stop once they take that first drink or that first drug, a lot of people really won't be ready until they're ready, right? So they have to reach a rock bottom, right? But like for people my age and people that are getting to that point, like it gets tougher and tougher every time, right? Like I reached a point in my life where I really wanted to cause myself harm, right? And I just can't imagine me spending 20 more years of that, until I finally got to the place I am today. Right. So the people that are going through this, man, like the whole point of me doing this stuff and doing this podcast and reaching out to people and going through this program is to help others. Right. So, I'm very open to talking to anyone. I'm very open. Like there's a helpline, right? Like call them, right? You don't need to tell them your name. You just have to talk to them, right? And they'll talk to you and be there for you as well, right? There's things set in place for people like us and for people that are not like us as well to help them as well, right? Like there's always tools, right? You just gotta seek them, right? And like sometimes we don't seek them, right? And that's when it sucks, right? Because the majority of the people that have this problem never get help,
Yeah, a good majority of them,
and
right?
they die, and it's sad. It's sad, and that's one thing that frustrates me a lot too. Like I see people my age going through the same thing, and I can see it clear as day, right? And they're gonna have to figure out their own because the people like me, and I can only speak from my experience. Like I was as selfish, prideful, egotistical as they came. Right? I thought the world had a bent to my to me, and that's one thing. Like it's to be humble and to be selfless and to care for others more than we care for ourselves. Because that's when we really get the real reward.
Yeah, no,
I
that's
don't know if
great.
that really answered your question, but
No, it's great. I think it's, it's one, seek the help if you're looking for it. If you're in that position of looking for it, take that extra step to actually seek it, or find someone that's there, that's ready for you, that's set up for that. That would be good. And I think for you, man, I would say, consider. I don't think it's that you were like, I want the world to bend. I think it's, because again, talking for similarities, I think it's more of, man, look at these shit cards I got dealt. I'm gonna go fucking figure this out, and I'm gonna go crush this. However, I gotta crush it, because it's not fucking fair, and so I would say that there's some sort of, some sort of being, pride. Like, you still have to have some pride. I feel like you definitely have some pride, because everything that you've gone through, and everything that you've gone through, not everyone has gone through a similar situation. So I think a level of pride is definitely due, and you should definitely pat yourself on the back, especially for where you were to where you are now. And don't let that sort of be a vocabulary where it's like, man, I was, XYZ. Of course we got to be humble, but we also, fucking pat yourself on the back, bro. You know what I mean? Because you've done a great job, and you're doing it. So, and I think there's that balance between understanding that, continuing to grow, continuing to reflect. Everything you're doing is amazing. So you know what? Thank you so much, Matthew, for sharing the story, for being on, for being vulnerable, being open, and then, obviously helping out other people that may be, going through the same thing. All right.
I
Until the next
appreciate it. I
one.
appreciate you having
Yeah.
me.
Yeah.
I appreciate you having me. Seriously.
Yeah. All right, homies. Thanks again. You guys heard it. Keep crushing it. Keep listening. And don't forget, nothing changes until you do. All right. Peace.